Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from CES 2024, Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining me for this segment, we have Paolo Pirjanian. He is founder and CEO of Emdodied. We're here to discuss how AI can be ethically developed and responsibly in order to have the most positive impact. Paolo, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to TradeTalks.
Thank you.
2023, of course, was the year the AI truly came mainstream. How has Emdodied and Moxie robot, how does it stand out in all the news that we've seen in 2023?
Yeah, so one of the key areas we're focused on is using AI for companionship for human care. Moxie particularly is focused on child development. We believe that this is going to be a category that's very needed because there's a massive shortage of therapists, for care providers and so on, not only for children, but also the elderly population that many times suffers from social isolation that leads to many other health conditions.
With the rapid development in this field, of course, the question comes, how are we using AI ethically? How is it being used responsibly? How do you make that happen in order to have a positive impact to society?
One of the first things is to make sure that these large language models don't go array because we know they can hallucinate and so on. So we build models that are safety models for large language models and filter the inputs and outputs and make sure anything that the robot does in interacting with a child is appropriate, whether it's related to any difficult emotions they are dealing with or inappropriate language that the child wants to engage with. Moxie will actually filter all of those conversations and guide it in a much safer and appropriate place.
Well, of course, privacy and security is going to be top of mind when
Absolutely.
Moxie is working with children. How do you ensure that?
So, first of all, we take all the measures to ensure that the data is protected, encrypted. All of the data that we collect for training up our models is stripped of any personal identifiable information. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we have third parties that give us certification. They audit us regularly. So COPPA compliance is for Children's Privacy Act. And so we are monitored by third-party independent parties that assure that what we are doing, there's no loopholes in it.
How should investors be paying attention to companion robots?
We have the conviction that everyone in the next decade is going to have companion AI of one form or another. It can be in form of a digital AI, it can be a simple plush toy that talks to your child, or it could be a very advanced robot like Moxie that is built for child development, both educational skills but also social emotional skills. So right now, this year, we are going to see hundreds of thousands of customers being onboarded. Next year, I believe we'll get into the millions, and soon we'll go rapidly from there to tens of millions of users and customers. So I believe this is an area where there's a lot of investment that will flow into this direction. And I think there's going to be a lot of entrants from many regions, many different fields, from toy companies to companies like ourselves that are going to be entering the market with new offerings to many different populations from childhood to aging.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense if you think about the aging population, particularly in the United States. This sounds like it would be an interesting idea for senior citizens where perhaps family isn't close or they don't have access to family every day, but if they have a companion, whether it's a robot or a piece of companion technology, it seems as if there is a pretty big addressable market there.
Absolutely. Actually, ironically enough, although Moxie is marketed to children in the age range of 5 to 10, but 10% of our users are actually adults or elderly. So absolutely there is a massive market opportunity there, and there's going to be multiple companies, including Emdodied, that will pursue that and serve that market.
All right, Paolo, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me from CES. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.